There are several supposedly odd things or problematic things going on in this week's Torah portion, Vayakhel-pekudei, when the Israelites are meant to be bringing, donating to create the tabernacle, and especially when we think that this donation is in fact, it's meant to fix, all of the gold that they gave for the sin of the golden calf. And Rabbi Raphael Birdugo notices specifically two problematic things supposedly. The first one is the princes, right? The princes are the last ones to bring tzedakah. We have all the men, the women, they all, flood the camp bringing everything, but where are the princes? And Rabbi Raphael says this is also the reason why the word nesi'im, some commentators say that it's missing a couple of yuds to sort of say, they got lazy. They didn't go first, and this is problematic. And the second issue is these mirrors, right? These mirrors that the women brought, that we know that Moses didn't want. There's sort of this air of promiscuity. And so Rabbi Raphael wants to sort of solve this puzzle. And he starts by saying, like commentators say, we need to understand that the whole act, the donating for the tabernacle and bringing everyone, Moshe telling everyone to come to Aharon and bring everything, is because they also went, when he was up in Mount Sinai, to Aharon, wanting to create this golden calf. So all of this is meant to be a fix, but we can beautifully explain this in terms of a sort of ideal social structure. And it starts with the presidents. He says, some might say that the presidents were lazy. I don't think so. I think we need to say a few good words about them. Rabbi Raphael says, what do I think the presidents were thinking? They thought, we're rich. If each 12 of us, the princes, bring tzedakah, there isn't going to be much left. No one's going to be able to bring that much or as much as they wanted. So they purposely waited so that each and every Israelite would be able to contribute as much as they wanted and thought, because there is a lot to give. And that way, and how do you know that this was the case, that they were being cheap or lazy? The once all the Israelites brought what they brought, and they flooded and brought stuff, then the princes paid for all the stones, the Avnei Shoam, right? The real expensive stuff, the stuff that even, Cartier quality isn't good enough. They brought top-notch stuff. So that's sort of, Rabbi Raphael wants to set the score straight when it comes to the presidents. They did a good job. Let's not understand them as being lazy. And in a way, they're being responsible. What they should be doing, what they should have been doing back then. And then when we look at this idea of the women bringing all of these mirrors and Moses not wanting it. So here, Rabbi Raphael reminds us of different midrashim and commentators that say, we shouldn't be looking at them bringing the mirrors as sort of this air of promiscuity, but rather the women knew, why did they want to bring the mirrors? Because the mirrors are the things that they decorate themselves in front of, and as a result, they ensure that the men are only looking at them, and that their thoughts are only with them and what needs to happen, and we understand what that is, as opposed to looking then at, other shiksas or in the desert if there were or whatnot. So in that sense, even this sort of problematic bit for Rabbi Raphael, as with other commentators, is brilliant. He says, look what's going on here. With the sin of the golden calf, them bringing all the gold, they had problematic thoughts, the men and the women. Here, their thoughts are in the right place. You have lust, it's for husband and wife. So we see between man and woman this sort of, this perfect correction in terms of this ideal relationship, and we see it as well with the princes. And then when he starts the Torah portion of Pekudei, he says this also explains, this I'm connecting, why it says twice Mishkan Edut. Because this again it alludes to what we mentioned last week, that when we bring tzedakah here, our intention creates the tabernacle in the upper worlds, and by actually bringing the tzedakah, it creates it here. And so we have this sort of holistic, complete fix. Thoughts on the Torah portion of Vayakhel-pekudei from Rabbi Raphael Birdugo. Shabbat Shalom.